Greetings and welcome back to Smartwatch Ticks. You are about to see the unboxing of this new Z18 special Android watch. But before we do that, remember we did a review on the Limfo LEF2 where we unboxed it and went through all the basics. You want to check that one out first because we're going to pick up from there and move forward with this one, which build-wise is identical to the LEF2. Both these watches come to us from our new partner, GearVita. That's right, GearVita. And in here we have the Z18. It's a 3G Android 5.1 smartwatch optimized for best battery life. That's the intent. We'll see if it delivers over time, but it has a reduced screen size of 240 by 240 pixels. Okay, and it has a much larger battery in it. So by reducing the screen size and increasing the battery, theoretically, you're going to get a longer battery life, and that's their intent. You're getting full 3G phone capability at 850 and 2100 megahertz. You have 8 gigabytes of onboard storage and a 2 megapixel side camera. All these other things, there you go. We're looking at 72 hours of standby time and 120 in what they call the smart band mode from the 460 milliamp hour battery. We have 4.5 hours of continuous call time. And then here's some more information about the settings. We've got heart rate monitor, local weather. By the way, the weather shows both centigrade and Fahrenheit now. It's a new presentation of the weather. So we'll show you that as we go through the more expanded review of the Z18. Let's unbox this thing, or uncan it. It's shipping in a can. That's an interesting way of delivery. I have taken it out and played with it and loaded it up, but I wanted to show you the unboxing. It comes with this little cover that we can take off, a little rubbery insert. The band is a really nice soft TPU band. It's got multiple colors. In this case, it's black and gray. Yeah. And it's got a really nice back to it. Now, if you look at the Limfo LEF2 review, you're going to see that it's built exactly the same. That one is more sporty looking, that particular model. This one is more dressy looking. Yeah. Why not? Here they are, side by side. Look at that. We've got red button, a black body, and the band is in red. Yeah, yes, I've had it on. I've been playing with it. Okay, let's set this aside, see what else we have in the can. Little rubber insert, or styrofoam. We have the charging dock, which looks like this. And we saw that before. It's a nice sturdy one, but it's unique. It's very unique. Half semicircle. Connects, holds really, really well. Good solid connection. And it's identical, wow, to the one that came with the LEF2. We have a bag with a screwdriver and tweezers that's used to remove the SIM card that would go in here. Again, we've unboxed already, so we're just going to whip through this. Instructions on how you insert the SIM and a multi-language user's manual. And the manual we've gone through completely page by page in the review of the LEF2. So check that out over there. And that's everything in the can. On the bottom, it tells you what's inside this watch, which is matching up with what we just saw in the specs. Okay, let's turn it on and take you deeper into what this watch can do. When you boot it up, it immediately goes into watch face, and I'm comparing the two together here for you. This is the first watch face you see on the Z18. On the Limfo, you have a specialized Limfo watch face as the first one, and then it goes into the series of watch faces, which don't match up exactly. Look at that. We go into different configurations, different ordering of these watch faces. Pay attention to what you saw. That one we saw over there. There's that one there. Here's this one. Whoops. That one there. So it looks like we had one additional watch face stuck in there. Okay, so far all these are stock watch faces. And now we move into custom watch faces. These are the specialized custom watch faces that I've installed on both watches. They use the standard clock skin approach or technique for installation, and they work perfectly. Almost. Again, the screen has been sized to 240 by 240, and because of that, every now and then you might get one that doesn't quite work right, just because the designer didn't take into consideration that it may need to play well on a smaller watch face. But most of the time, they do work great. Okay, so enough with the comparisons. Let's move on and go deeper into this particular watch. You notice that the bezel, the nice metal bezel, has some numbers on it. They're really, really small, but they're around the outside edge. When we swipe up, you get that page, and that page. We've discussed those already, right? When you go to the left, you get notifications. To the right, you get your overall app drawer, all of your sequenced apps. And to the right of that is a music player. Now, when I scroll, I change the brightness. I've got an app installed here called Display Brightness, which lets me slide a little slider bar up and down here to change the brightness. I really like that particular app. Okay, the one thing we haven't done is slid the other direction. It shows your location in the upper left corner, and it shows you now, look at that, temperature in centigrade and Fahrenheit, and a refresh button that will update it as well. So that's a really nice new addition. We hope we're going to start seeing on all the watches the fact that you can get your temperature in Fahrenheit for those of you who want that. Yeah. Okay, we go over to the apps, and we have the standard ones that, again, we've already reviewed these. We've looked at the settings. We've gone through all of this. We're going to come back and take a look at the clock. We didn't do that in the LEF2 review. Camera. And then we get down into some of the testing apps that I've installed on here. Way down, there's that Display Brightness app. You can look for a link in the show notes down below. That'll get you over there to download that particular one because it's no longer in the Google Play Store for some reason. Or if you want, I have these printed out for you. Head over here to tinyurl.com/Android watches. And amongst lots of things in that folder is a document that lists all kinds of Android apps that are recommended to be put on these watches, one of which is the direct link to download the Display Brightness app. You also can get in a bunch of other goodies in there too. Okay, as we go further down, we get to our testing apps, the AIDA 64, the Antutu benchmark testing, setting search, gesture search, and engineering mode MTK shortcut. All of these are recommended if you want to just kind of test out your watch. And I've run these back and forth between this and the LEF2, and they're pretty much identical. So we're going to go in here to the system, show you that the system in this is a Z18, and here's the RAM configuration. 0.5 GB of installed RAM, and overall storage available is about 5.6 gigabytes. When you look at the CPU itself, here's the quad-core processor information, and then the screen information is here, 240 by 240, and so forth. And hopefully, that's going to give you good optimization in terms of saving on battery, because the screen is always the thing that eats the most power. When we do the Antutu benchmark testing, and I've run this already, because of the memory configuration and the processor size, we get 14,142, which is typical for this class size memory watch. So no surprises there. It doesn't really run the graphics that we see sometimes when we do that test. The screen is just a little too low. The setting search and gesture search. Well, one thing we want to show you, we go into setting search, and we can go into accessibility. And from here, you can go down to this magnification gestures. Now, setting search is an app you have to install, either from the Google Play Store or from the link I give you the direct link to it. You turn on this magnification. It's telling you that when you do this and you triple tap, you can zoom in. Look at that. And that's really great on a watch. When you do it, it's fixed at that location. Triple tap again and it'll go small. If you triple tap and hold, like that, now you can move around. You know you're in this triple tap window because you'll see that orange all the way around. That's a dead giveaway. So that's one of the nice uses for accessibility inside settings search. And settings search gives you access basically to a lot more of the hidden system stuff that you don't get to see from the firmware overlay that's on the watch. Gesture search does something similar. It's a Google product. You just start writing on the screen like ACC and it'll bring up that accessibility menu. You get different things in both of those. That's why they're both recommended. Engineering mode MTK we're going to be using for checking our location. That's the GPS. So I'm going to go in here to GPS. Going to come down here and turn it on. Now, of course, it hasn't been enabled. By the way, you see it all running off the screen here. You can't read what's there, and sometimes you can't see the buttons. Press and hold the top. Change that from full to small. Press it back. And look, it scaled it all to fit in a little square. Nice trick. Yes, we want to enable. We're going to turn on the mode for high accuracy. We're going to let Google locations know that and agree. That little green flash was that setting or that display brightness. In a previous version, you've turned it off. I'm going to say yes. Okay, everything is all set for that. Now, GPS should work for us. There's the view of the satellites. And let's come back over here. Scroll up. GPS is off. Going to click it to turn it on. It's now on. I go over to view. And there, in a tiny little window, you're seeing all of the satellites in the sky showing up. When this little line down at the bottom starts to show bars, that's when it's starting to acquire the GPS signal. And again, I can press this now, expand it, and it's a little bit bigger to see, but some of the stuff is off the screen. Unfortunately, as is typical with Android watches, I need to step outside in order to acquire the GPS. And usually, the first time, it takes quite a while. So I'll be right back. As expected, it took, maybe 5 minutes before I really got a fix. So in that time, I set up the LEF2 as well to see how it did with the same app. And there we go. And over time now, they'll start to fade out because I'm indoors. The red means there's no signal from that particular satellite, but it got it. And the green means it's got a good signal. Both of them are holding pretty well. This is decent GPS. Nothing to write home about, but nothing to run away from either. You should get adequate navigational guidance and map location information when you're wearing this out and about, if it's getting this much indoors already. Okay, and that is GPS. Now, another couple of things to show you quickly. In voice search, when you go in here, it's asking you to go ahead and sign in order to use it. So it's tied to your Google account. And of course, you're going to, probably want to do that anyway. But once you're signed in, then the voice search should take over and work. and it lets you go through using Google Now as well if you want to activate that. That's part of the voice search. And finally, by way of full coverage, let's take a look at the camera. I've got this here, and when it comes up, there, I've got the little can this thing came in. You see that? And again, it's always fun to try to get things centered. I'm going to take a picture. There's the little picture over there. And I'm going to run a little video. Now, you notice the picture changed. We're recording a little video clip, and I'm speaking. Oh, now it's starting. It had a bit of a delay. Okay, now we're recording in a little vertical strip, and it's showing the seconds countdown. There's a pause. Now the video is in pause. I'm still talking. That should not be recorded. Now we stop the pause, and it's continuing to record. So let's look at this and see how it turned out. Sorry, I'm a little hoarse today. I hope it's not coming through too bad on the video, but I got to get these reviews done. Okay, there's the picture first of all. And if we double tap it, what happens? Nothing. If we pinch and zoom, nothing. So it looks like on this watch, we don't have any method for expanding it other than oh, that switched to the video. Sorry, there we go. Let's pause you because we're not ready for you yet. We were doing the camera picture. Well, gallery. Use for the gallery. Oh, here's a bunch of the pieces from the watches that I have installed. That stuff shows up in your gallery as well. So just be aware, if you put custom faces in, you're going to see that kind of stuff. Here's the folder for the pictures and videos, and okay, that's the video. It's actually, I can hear my voice, but it's really, really soft. The audio is very low. Now, I didn't go in and mess with the sound settings on this, so it just might be overall soft. We'll check that in a second. But there's the video. If I double tap on the video, it just goes into pausing it or playing it. There doesn't seem to be a way to expand it to full screen. So camera and video are pretty limited on this watch, which is expected because it's an entry-level Android watch with, 240 by 240 screen and optimized for power, not much else. There was the picture. It says detail up here. And it shows you what its size is, 1200 by 1600, which is probably a 2 megapixel overall size. And some other information. And of course, you can throw it away as well. Okay. Going to check the audio. Okay, I just cranked up the audio full on all of these. Now we go back into the camera. Or the gallery, actually, and play that video again. No change in the audio. That's one of the softest I've ever heard. It is there. When you export it, you probably have more capabilities to adjust the volume, and it might be loud there. It just might be the internal speaker. Because of the low volume, I'd be a bit worried about how well your phone calling is going to be with a SIM card in it. Well, this isn't good news. I figured since the audio seemed a little low, we would try a phone call and see how that worked. And I've got my AT&T SIM in here properly positioned, but unfortunately, it's not connecting up, even though supposedly it supports the 3G network that this is supposed to cover. Grab a phone number, hit the dial, and it says cellular network not available. Bails out like it's in the call, but then comes back out again. So when you check settings, and something you can do too, you go into your connect area, and you fall all the way down to cellular networks. course, you don't want to turn data roaming on, but you do want to get a phone call. So you have access point numbers and your network operators, which you can choose or select automatically. The access point is already pre-selected, and it just doesn't connect up. It defaults back to a 2G AT&T network, and as we all know, the end of 2016, the 2G network was discontinued. By the way, while I have it here, notice the uniformity of the white with the illumination from behind. Not exactly the smoothest, but again, it's a low quality display on this watch. There you go. That's what it's trying to do. Default back to 2G from the 3G, but it isn't working over AT&T. T-Mobile, perhaps in the US, it might work. Those of you around the world with 2G networks still available on the GSM overall network, this may work for you. But my success so far on both this and the Lemfo LEF2 are no phone calls with AT&T SIMs. Darn. Okay. One last thing to show you, Alrod's newest creation of a custom watch face, his PacMan watch face, as a little PacMan emerges from behind the logo and starts eating away at the dots, and a few of them dance around the time in the middle. Kind of a fun little watch face, and it's available in the show notes. You can link over to his location. Got a lot of different watch faces you've seen in here from Alrod and others, and definitely available for installation in these watches because they do use the standard clock skin folder technique. All right, this is the Z18. It's exactly the same as the Lemfo LEF2, and both of them are available from GearVita. You've seen the original initial first look review of these watches in the video for the Lemfo LEF2, and this is the deeper look at what this thing can do for the Z18, and they're the same. So check the buying links down below, look for a coupon discount if we've got them, and help us support our brand new partner, GearVita. Hopefully we'll see some more goodies from these guys. You've been watching Smartwatch Ticks. We appreciate your subscription, and thanks for being here with us. Take care.